decided to do an independent research called Body Love. I did this because cheerleaders often feel like they have to be perceived a certain way. Have y'all ever felt like you had to be thinner because you were a cheerleader, or you felt uncomfortable in your cheer uniform because of what you ate the night before, or you felt guilty or something? And I know that's something that we all feel, and that's something that I felt especially drawn to because I knew everyone had the same feeling. Okay, so can I have a show of hands of anyone that has ever looked in the mirror and hated what they saw? Okay. A show of hands of anyone who has wished that they could change their appearance? And lastly, has anyone been on a diet to change their appearance? Okay. Elena, why did you go on a diet? What did you not like about yourself?
I just wanted something to change.
Like what?
My body, my appearance. I wanted to feel better about myself.
And, okay, so for some reason society has given off this impression that we need to look a certain way to be perceived as beautiful, and I definitely think that there's something wrong with that, and that's completely ridiculous, because as long as you're comfortable with yourself, then everyone should be comfortable with you. And so, I think as cheerleaders, we don't need to be as concerned about what we look like, because that's the stigma around cheer, is that everyone's so concerned in what they look like, and that just shouldn't be the case. And so I'm going to pass out these sticky notes, and we're going to divide up into, like, squads. And so if you can, like, get with someone in your squad and y'all can pair up, and you're going to write 3 compliments on a Post-it note. But I don't want it to be physical compliments, because normally when you give a compliment, it's like, oh, cute shoes, oh, you look so good today. But instead, if it's like, oh, you made me smile this time, or Morgan, you have such a good heart, and stuff like that. And so compliments that come from within and not about your outward appearance. So if y'all could pair up with someone from your squad, that'd be good.
I know.
Thank you, Mrs.
This is really hard.
So once y'all have finished with it, I want you to give it to your partner. So whenever they're feeling down about themselves, they can read it and they can have something tangible to lift their spirits a little bit.
About 2 things that drive body image, okay? Number 1 is perception, and number 2 is need, okay? So if you go back in time and you look, if we were living in the 1800s, all of us would have to put on some weight. We would just have to, okay? And why do you think that is? Why in the 1800s would you need to be heavier than we are now? Yes, ma'am.
The growing season can be bad, and you won't have food.
Absolutely. In the 1800s, okay, and even if you go farther back, if you look at history, women and men, their bodies resemble what's going on in society, okay? So in the 1800s, if you got pneumonia, if you got the flu, if it was a bad crop season, if you had to give birth, okay, you were trying to have a family, and sometimes that was beyond your control, you would not survive if you did not have some reserve, some ability to maintain calories and to, just to have, to keep your body healthy, okay? So that was very, very important, okay? So that was a need, and also it was a perception. In the 1800s, men did not want some little scrawny, thin girl. I mean, that would be like, ooh, that's not going to work. I need a woman who is going to be healthy, is going to be able to have a family and survive. It was about, what the things that were important in the 50s. Then we get to the 60s. This is what we inherited, what we're grappling with right now. Have you ever heard of a cute little model named Twiggy? Twiggy, that's what she was nicknamed. She was rail thin. She came on the scene, and also a lot of the rock bands of that time, like Mick Jagger, people like that, they were very rail thin. Well, in the 60s, what was happening in the 60s? Lots of rebellion, right, against society, but also a lot of drug use. It's hard to maintain any body weight, when you're you're going from concert to concert and using LSD, right? I'm not saying Twiggy was on drugs. I'm saying that the whole perception, what was going on in our society was changing. Kids were rebelling, and so things were changing. And then she made that look popular. Now, here's the problem with that look that we still have. 5% of the population has that body type. 95% of the population does not have that body type.
What do you mean?
But what is the need that's driving that? Why does it benefit? How does it benefit anyone for 95% of us to try to look like the 5%? Why? Why is that going on? Why wouldn't the 5% be trying to look like the 95%?
Because the 5% is what's all in the media, so.
It's on the media, and why would the media promote that? Money. Money. Do you know how many billions and billions and billions of dollars are made each and every year? We could feed every third world country. We could solve so many problems if we had access to the resources. If women are displeased in this century with the way they look, what are they going to do? They're going to go spend some money, especially in countries, developed countries like ours. They're going to spend as much money as it takes. We're going to go from one diet program to the next. We're going to try one cosmetic after another. We're going to do whatever it takes to try to look in the mirror and feel good about ourselves. Okay, it's all about money. It's all about money. I'm so happy to see, if you noticed in the last 10 to 20 years that we have plus size models now, and I'm so happy to see them. And that's one thing I want you to really think about. If you could imagine what your vision of the perfect woman is, okay? If you could imagine that in your mind, and you could be that, but the only catch is that every other woman you know is going to look exactly like that. We all look exactly the same, but it's perfect according to your image. Is that what you would want? You want to look like everybody on the planet? It's because you're a unique person, because you have unique things to say. You have a unique personality. You were put here with a special purpose. There's a purpose for your life, and you are a person. There is no one like you. There never has been anyone like you, and all the billions and billions of genetic possibilities, you're the only one. Even if you're an identical twin, you are the only one like you. And so, for us to strive all of our lives and to make the focal point of our lives to be like everyone else is absurd. You see what I'm saying? It's like we want to get rid of our individuality. We want to become all the same person instead of being unique and being who we are. And instead of being, you need to find that person that you're going to connect with as a mate, okay, that you can talk with all night long. You need to go out there and have a life. You need to experience things. You need to do things. You need to learn how to do things for others. You need to make your world better. You need to have a career. You need to live your life and not waste it on something just as mundane as what do I look like, because they want to do what you look like, instead of going out and doing something. So anyway, I'm going to stop lecturing you. But that's just my thought on body image and kind of where we are now. And I'm so hopeful that we will, as women, take back our identities as people, as individuals, and not be driven by something that's just illusion, that's just not even there. It's not even